Welcome back to Living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd. If this is your first time here, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Hal Byrd. I am a realtor and have a relocation business in Southwest Washington where I help people relocate from all over the country and all over the world, in fact. And that's exactly what I did 4 years ago. I relocated from California to Washington State, and it was the best move that I could have made. And now 4 years later, here we are today sharing the 2022 cost of living video with you. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. So today I'm going to take you through the cost of living for Southwest Washington, Vancouver, and Camas, and some of the surrounding areas. Some things are going to have differences based on where you are, like housing, very dependent on where you are, whereas the grocery store prices are going to be a little bit more level. So we're going to take you through that. If you want to see the 2021 video we did, I will link it right here. That was done about 18 months ago, and if you've been paying attention in the last 18 months, there's been a lot of changes in our country. We're a little more out of the COVID era, if you will, which also means that the real estate market changed. Interest rates are different than they were last year. Inflation is really different, and that's why so many of you who watch this channel have requested this video. So here I am to deliver the goods to you. If you're relocating, the cost of living and expenses is a top concern because it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world, you still kind of want to know what you're getting into. And that goes for my clients that are first-time home buyers that are looking at some of the lowest price points that we offer in this market, all the way up to my $1 million+ cash buyers. Everyone wants to know what the cost of living is like. I do want to say that if you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Pacific Northwest, whether you're looking to move within or relocate to Southwest Washington, make sure to shoot me a text. It's 360-818-4438, and you can text me at any time. I would be happy to help you with any of your real estate needs. And I wanted to say that to segue into the first topic because it's such a large portion of your expenses and what you spend money on, and that's your housing. So let's talk about the housing market and how it's changed from February of 2021. So are you thinking about renting or are you thinking about buying? If you're thinking about renting, let's start with the rental prices. One bedrooms range from $900 on the lowest end, going all the way up to $1,800. Two bedroom apartments are gonna range from $1,200 to $2,500. Three bedroom apartments are gonna run you $1,800 to $3,000 in Vancouver. The most availability that you're gonna find for apartments is going to be in Vancouver. Let's talk about Camas rentals. One bedrooms in Camas are going to range from about $1,500 to $1,800. Two bedroom apartments are going to range from $1,600 to $2,200. And three bedrooms are going to range from $2,400 to $4,000+. And this is including in Camas because it's a smaller city. This is including apartments and homes for rent. I'm filming this video in August of 2022, and I just pulled the stats out of the MLS today for the last 30 days. If you ever want any of this information updated because it changes daily, again, feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact info is in the description below. So let's jump over to housing prices. Let's start with condos. Maybe you like condo living, or you are a first-time home buyer and you're just looking to get into your first place to start building equity, or maybe you're looking to get something that you can use as a rental and maybe retire in. And that's actually one of my favorite strategies for my clients who are looking to build out some level of their investment portfolio in real estate, is to look at condos. And there's a couple key things you'd want to look at. So make sure to reach out to me if you want to know about that strategy of real estate investing. So last year, I'd shared with you that in 2021, the median condo price was around $250,000. This year in 2022, we are up at $335,000. If you don't know, real estate appreciated year over year about 20%. So we're kind of hit the end of that COVID sellers market, that COVID era sellers market that's been super hot. You've probably heard about in the news. We're definitely in a transition period right now. So it's a great buying time, and you'll see why as I kind of explain some of these numbers that are very different from last year. If you're looking for condos and you're wondering like how long do I have from seeing it first listed, the median days on market is 16 days. And then what's really interesting, if you've been waiting to not have to deal with bidding wars. Bidding wars aren't entirely over, but they're a lot less frequent than they were in the past 2 years. The condos are selling for about 4.5% below the original list price. And a lot of that has to do with sellers not really coming to grasp with the fact that the market has changed, and they're overpricing their homes a little bit, hoping that they can still get the prices that they could get 6 months ago, and that's just not the case. So let's talk about detached homes, or what some of you might understand to be single family homes. In Vancouver, the median sale price is $530,000 with a median days on market of 12 days. And while 12 days might not seem like that long, considering that this time last year, the median days on market was 5 days, we are in a slower market. Not slower relative to the history of real estate, but slower relative to the past 2 years. And the average days on market is 24 days. Now, moving to Camas, the median sale price is $700,000. We're seeing median days on market of 19 days and an average of 40. And then for list price, we're seeing anywhere from 1.5% to 3% below the original list price, because this summer we're seeing a lot more price reductions. The market's just totally different. If you have any other questions about housing or you want more details, make sure to reach out. Housing is the second biggest expense that you encounter, but taxes is the biggest expense we all encounter in life. It's gonna be more than you spend on anything. So even though it's not a sexy topic, it is important to pay attention to if you wanna get ahead financially, no matter what your financial level is. Still have the same no state income tax in Washington state. And I do wanna point out, because I talk to a lot of people, and I'm talking about people who are moving from Florida and Texas and Idaho, that come to me and say, you know, we're considering whether we want to be on the Portland side of the river or the Vancouver side. And I always want to point out to people that if you do move to Oregon, and there are a lot of great areas and reasons to live in Oregon, but from a purely financial standpoint, I always point out to people that if you move to Oregon, your income taxes are going to be higher than in California. And California obviously has a reputation for being very high tax. And a lot of people don't realize that if they move to Oregon, they'll actually have higher state income taxes than in California. So I think that's worth pointing out. Obviously, Washington, no state income tax. Now, if you are a commuter, because 40% of the Clark County workforce does commute. If you do commute into Oregon, so if you live in Washington but you work in Oregon, you will pay Oregon income taxes. So in order to reap the no income tax benefit, you have to live and work in Washington, or you have to work remote. Now, all that being said, if you do identify Oregon, and specifically Multnomah County, which is the county that Portland's located in, as a place that you want to live, I would be happy to help you on that side of the river as well. So that's income tax, pretty straightforward. Sales tax is also straightforward. If you go to the Oregon side, or if you live in the Oregon side, you have no sales tax. In Southwest Washington, you're gonna see sales tax at 8.5%. And that brings us to property tax. And my favorite thing that people say as well, if they, meaning Washington State, if Washington State isn't charging income tax, they must really get you on property tax. No. Property tax is really close to the national average. It's around 1% to 1.2%, depending on how your property is assessed. Property tax is very reasonable. So Washington is a great state if you are looking for a reasonable and fair tax position to be in. As a matter of fact, taxes isn't a small matter, which is why some of the richest people in the world live in Washington State, and you can see that video that we did right here. Next up, let's talk utilities. You've got electric, water, gas, sewer, internet. The city of Vancouver actually put out a study comparing the utility costs between different cities locally and just throughout the state. So I'm gonna link that below, that'll be in the description. For water, sewer, and stormwater, which are 3 different charges, in the city of Vancouver, the average bill was $95.18. In my personal experience in the city of Vancouver, that's actually higher than what my average bill has been, but it's called an average for a reason. That's for 2022. Those are current numbers from the city of Vancouver, and they actually shared their Vancouver 2021 averages in this same study, which I thought was kind of cool. And the price is only up $4 a month. So not a huge increase given how much inflation we've been all dealing with recently. I'll just say that. Now, moving into Clark County, so these are the unincorporated areas. You won't have a municipality provided water. You get your water from Clark PUD, Clark Public Utilities. They provide the electric for everyone, and we'll talk about electric next. Right now, we're just talking about water. But if you live in an area that doesn't have municipality provided water, then they'll also provide your water and electric. So the water bill for Clark Public Utilities is $69.72. And then let's give you just some of the other the 5 boroughs, as we call it, the other cities. So Battleground, $93.75. Camas, $106.29. Ridgefield, $97.20. You can see they're all pretty closely grouped together. And then Washougal is the most expensive, $142.12. Now, electric, I'm going to talk about from a personal experience standpoint. Our electric bill for the majority of the time that we've lived here has been between $50 and $70 a month. We have had recently, because we've been running the air more as it's been hotter here, the trend has just been hotter. Like, this is the hottest summer that it's been since we've lived here. So we've had a bill as high as $188, but that's also including our electric vehicle charging. Having lived with an electric vehicle in the real world, we paid for the last month $37 in charging. That's 100% at-home charging. And for context, paying $37 a month in electric charging, we drive on average about 1,500 miles a month. I wanted to bring that up for those of you who have or are considering getting an electric vehicle in the future, or even a plug-in hybrid, so you can know, like, real world what things might cost here. I posted a reel about this as well on Instagram. If you don't follow me, go do that. And someone else had said that they paid $44 a month in charging. Our costs are pretty close. Our cost per kilowatt hour from Clark Public Utilities is 8 cents a kilowatt hour. So you can always look on your electric bill, no matter where you are in the country, and compare what you're paying for electric there versus what you might be paying when you move here. Next is natural gas. This is probably the bill that varies the most. We've had bills that are like $12, $15, and we've had bills that are close to $200. So it really depends on how warm you like to keep your house. I would say on average throughout the year, we look at about $50 a month for our natural gas. The next topic is internet when it comes to utilities. And I did a video here because a lot of people ask, well, I work from home, I need fast internet. Is that going to be a problem? Or we need a place with really fast internet. And honestly, most places you're going to be looking, you can find super fast internet. We're talking gig speed plus. So we have 300 megabits, and I think our bill is around $70. We also get a discount from Xfinity because we get our cell phone from them. So our effective cost comes out to like $35 a month for 300 megabits for internet. Xfinity is the most common provider, the most widespread, and then there are a couple of other providers that you can get, and again, reference that video if you want to know more about internet here. That brings us to our next category, which is my favorite category, which is food and groceries. I will share with you some common items at the grocery store and what they cost, and then also talk about, just anecdotally, what it costs to go out and eat. Right now, eggs are at $1.59. This is up maybe like 30 cents from 18 months ago, and those are for the just store brand white eggs. If you want the more high-end eggs, pasture raised, ethically sourced, organic, all that stuff, those right now are $6.49 a dozen. So Jarrett wanted me to put in a clip of Portlandia, but if I can't find that clip, I just want to mention it because it's worth doing a YouTube search for. Search for Portlandia, Callin' the Chicken, or Aliki Farms. It's from Portlandia's season 1, episode 1. It's hilarious. He was like, you just reminded me of those people. So you should see that if you want a good laugh. Also, side note, if you're moving here, just watch Portlandia. It used to be on Netflix. I don't know where you can get it these days. I think you can buy it. But if you can figure out a way to watch it, I would highly recommend it because it made us feel before we moved here, because once we decided, we're like, let's watch this show. It made us feel closer to being here, and it was funny. Like, we would watch a couple episodes, before bed, but also a little bit true. So if you want to understand a little bit more about Portland specifically, definitely doesn't apply to Vancouver, but if you want to know more about Portland, like, that's not a bad place to start. A gallon of milk. So we're talking about white cow's milk, $3.49, which is up almost $1 from last year. Almond or oat milk, those are probably gonna run you about $3 to $4 for a half gallon. Next up is a loaf of bread. Now we're just talking about like basic white bread, store brand, like the cheapest you can get. Is about $1.50. And then if you want something like Dave's Killer Bread, let's say their Killer White Bread, that's $6.50. And then obviously you can find anything in between. A 5-pound bag of potatoes is $2.59 right now. A pound of chicken breast goes for about $2.99 a pound. Being the vegetarian, I will also say that a block of tofu is about $1.79. And then last but not least is a 6-pack of beer. It's gonna run you about 10 to 12 bucks. So that's all of the grocery store prices that I compiled for you as of August 2022. And most of these prices are quoted on Fred Meyer. There are cheaper grocery stores in town, like Grocery Outlet and Winco, and there's more expensive grocery stores in town like New Seasons and Natural Grocers, and Safeway. Safeway's more expensive than Fred Meyer. So these are very middle of the road prices. If you want to save even more money, you can, or if you like shopping at the more natural stores, those are there as well. I also want to throw in an honorable mention for Chuck's Produce. They are a great local grocery store. We absolutely love them. They have probably some of the best produce in town, so if that's something that's really important to you, I would highly recommend Chuck's. My husband is crazy about their blueberries. Like, we don't buy blueberries from anywhere else basically because he loves their blueberries so much. So I definitely want to throw that in if you're looking for something local. New Seasons and Natural Grocers are local too, but Chuck's is even more like hyper local. I'm also gonna give a shout out again to Rally Pizza because I quoted their, Neapolitan style personal pizzas last year at, I think it was $15 to $18, and so the range is about the same, $14 to $19. And then a large single pizza from a more American style pizza place, if you will, is actually up about $5 a pie, and I checked multiple places. So you're gonna look at about $25 for a large cheese pizza, unless you go to Costco, which someone mentioned in the comments last year. Very true. Costco pizzas, $10 to $12. It's been a while since we've gotten a Costco pizza, so I couldn't tell you exactly. That's pizza. If you're looking at entrees at a Chinese restaurant, we just tried Taste of China, and their entrees were about $12 to $15, which is up from last year. I think last year I quoted it at $9 an entree. So just to give you an idea that we are not immune to inflation here, the prices have gone up like everywhere else in the country. So before you get in the comments saying, oh, all these people moving to Vancouver are making it so unaffordable. It's across the country. Like, if you live in another part of the country, vouch for me in the comments below that you're seeing increased prices, housing, food prices, all of those things. Because for some reason, I love Washington and I love Washingtonians, but sometimes the people on the internet don't really understand that sometimes the things that are happening here are happening everywhere. Just a side note, if you're going out for a date night and you are gonna have dinner and drinks for two, you're probably looking somewhere between $50 to $70, $80. It depends. There's a lot of nice restaurants on the waterfront now, really nice restaurants that we really enjoy. But wherever you're going in town, that's probably what you're gonna spend. That's what I find that we're spending when we go out to eat. Next up is transportation. This one hurts. It hurts. When I did the video last year, the 2021 cost of living, I looked at the gas prices and we paid $2.37. I looked today and the cheapest gas in town is $4.27. So almost $2 more, almost double. Absolutely just insane. On transportation, it is worth mentioning tolls. We still don't have any tolls on the I-5 bridge or the 205 bridge. So if you are going into Portland from anywhere in Southwest Washington, you won't pay tolls, but it's worth noting that they are planning a bridge either replacement or expansion along I-5, and they are almost certainly gonna put tolls on both bridges. So that's something to consider. Now let's talk healthcare. We're talking dentist, doctor, optometrist, vet visits. These are, from what I can tell, relatively the same. I just had an eye exam this month. If you're looking for a good dentist, eye doctor, doctors, things like that, feel free to reach out. Entertainment is a great one because if you're coming from a high cost of living area, you know that entertainment can be very expensive. And that's one great thing about living here. One of many great things about living here is how inexpensive entertainment can be because of the highly outdoor and active lifestyle that living in the Pacific Northwest provides, and the amount of free events there are and the places you can get free parking and things like that. So whether you want to go to a concert or you want to go golfing or to the movies or a play, museums, there are definitely ways to do this on the cheap. And I would say that for the consideration of a cost of living video, this would be one of the categories that I would be least concerned about, because you can definitely entertain yourself for free with concerts and movies in the park and different things like that. It's very easy to meet people and make friends here. I would really recommend going to meetups or joining Facebook groups that are around your interests. The culture of the Pacific Northwest just encourages it, and this is where like all of the stuff that we've been talking about when it comes to costs. It's like numbers this and dollars that and this many cents and, you know, counting your taxes and all those things. And all that's great. And, you know, Washington has a lot of pluses in that category. But the stuff that you can't measure, the stuff that really adds to the quality of your life and the richness of your life can be accessed no matter who you are. And you can make friends and meet people and live a whole life. I opened my meditation app this morning and there was a quote from Maya Angelou and it said, let me read it exactly. I've learned that making a living is not the same as making a life. And I think that living in the Pacific Northwest is the perfect place if you want to make a life and not just a living. And so while our cost of living is definitely not the lowest in the country, I am not gonna sit here and say that we are a low cost of living area. But when you combined, you know, higher wages with no state income tax, your dollar does go a little bit further than other parts of the country. Again, not all, but if you're comparing a very high cost of living area, I think that we are in the middle range, maybe slightly above the middle range, but definitely not low cost. And that's just the reality of what this interesting storm of events of the past couple years have provided for us, with low interest rates, with COVID and allowing people to work from home. And now people didn't have to live in these metro areas that they frankly didn't care for and were only there for their job. They can now move somewhere that is more fulfilling so that they can make that life that they wanted. So if that resonates with you and if you are relocating here, whether you are renting in your current market or you have a house to sell, I can help you navigate the changes that have been going on and help you find your home with Hal here in the Pacific Northwest. So make sure to shoot me a text, 360-818-4438. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of these costs? Were there any costs that I didn't cover that you want me to mention? I can answer those questions in the comments. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Ciao. I mean, I don't know how you can beat that. Maybe if you have solar panels, but that would still cost more money. This video is all about the money, right? All about the Benjamins, baby.